So I make videos because I want other people to know that they're not the only people who get annoyed by stuff. And in this case, I was using my computer, minding my own business, and all of a sudden I get a pop-up come up in the bottom of the screen saying Windows Defender has found no threats. So, what business does whoever has programmed this thing to pop up have programming anything to pop up on my computer? This is my computer. It's not Bill Gates's computer. It's mine. The operating system I'm using on it, he is privileged to be able to provide. I hold him personally responsible, and I think that he's out of line. I think his business is out of line, and I think it's incredibly rude. I don't need anything popping up. I'm busy doing something. I'm focusing on what I'm doing. I don't want some idiot making something happen on my screen, on my computer. That implies I don't have control of my computer. It's also insulting. I don't need to be told at a random moment in the middle of my work, oh, the system that you're using has found nothing. I didn't ask it to search for anything. I don't give a crap what it's doing. It's in the background. I've no interest in it. Now, this stuff is rammed in your face because Bill Idiot Gates has no respect for his customers or the users of his product. I can say that without reservation. He has contempt for the users of his product. So, why wouldn't I suggest that he's out of line? He's completely out of line, and he's rude. He's ultimately responsible for this. I'm using my computer. It's mine. You know, if I was running Linux or Linux on my machine, none of that stuff would happen. I mean, it would be my responsibility to make sure, to verify what was happening on my computer. So I find that using Windows, you get rudely interrupted and treated as though you're stupid. What on earth is the sense of overriding everything I'm doing and boom, throwing something on my screen? It is my screen. It's not Bill Gates's screen, it's my screen. He has no business being there or influencing what I'm viewing and seeing. No business at all. Now, if there was a specific threat that had appeared, okay, maybe that's justifiable. It's nice to know these things. But when there's nothing happening at all, don't breach my concentration. Don't come onto my screen and show me things I don't give a crap about. That's like a waiter coming up to the table to tell you, oh, chef just dropped a knife in the kitchen. So? Go away. Just bring me my dinner when it's ready. That is what this feels like. I don't need to know Windows Defender hasn't found anything at 5 to midnight. I don't need to know that. But Bill Gates apparently thinks, F everyone else, I'll just stuff information into their faces when I want to. How rude. What a pig. I don't like people behaving that way. I find it bloody rude. Now, nowadays we live with this stuff all the time. We put up with this nonsense from these idiots, these pencil-neck little rat bags who think that they have the right to invade your life because you happen to use an operating system they provide. It never used to happen. Do you remember when you used to use Windows and none of this nonsense used to happen, because they respected the customer, they respected the user. They've lost respect. And ultimately, I'm probably going to have to start using Linux for some things. Because, I'm sorry, Bill, you're an idiot if you think you can get away with being rude to people and just flouncing into their living room and behaving as though it's yours, you disgusting idiot. That's a fact. Do you remember when, in fact before computers, do you remember when your home was completely yours and no one would invade your privacy? If someone came and knocked on your door at a late time, you'd either ignore them or tell them to buzz off. Now, apparently Bill Gates thinks that he can do what he wants on your computer at any time of day. Who the hell does he think he is? Needs to be brought down a peg or two, I think. Now, I'm sick of this nonsense. I'm sick to death of the presumptuous behaviour of computer programming institutions or companies or even governments now, the way that they're behaving, even though frankly our government is not even run by our own people anymore. It's run by a secret shadow organisation that's worldwide, and if you don't know that, then you're dumb. Now this has to be dealt with, it has to be stopped. It's crookedness, it's criminality, it's rudeness, it's all the things that take away from the decency that we're supposed to enjoy as human beings, as people. And we have to fight for these things. We have to repair these things. I don't want Bill Idiot Gates in my business. I don't want something he's producing to invade my work. I am working on my machine. Who the hell does he think he is, invading my peace to tell me nonsense I don't need to know? Oh well, I'll just presume to do it because... What? Because what? Because you can? You shouldn't do stuff just because you can. You need to exercise discretion. You need to be able to discern what you should and shouldn't do. You pig ignorant idiot. And I'm sorry, but if he behaved himself and kept his nose out of your business and showed courtesy and respect, I wouldn't be making a video highlighting how pig ignorant he is, because he is. And I have stated exactly why I think that. I've got no reason to backtrack at all. I think what he's done is pig ignorant. It's disgusting. I don't need pop-ups and rubbish appearing on my computer. How dare he abuse the position of providing software? Just because you are in a position where you can do something doesn't mean you should do it. If you find the key to someone's house, you don't go into it. You hand the key to the owner. You help him preserve his privacy, his dignity, and you preserve your own honour by not doing so. You have to exercise discretion and discernment. That's honour. Well, not in Bill Gates' world. Now this is a small transgression. It's an annoyance and it's an irritant. It's an irritance. But at the same time, it's a small example of a much bigger problem. Because when you're writing programs, you have a lot of power. And you can be extremely invasive. And that's what I find that programmers are. Now programmers, I'm sorry guys, you don't have any honour anymore. And maybe you're being told to dishonour yourselves by behaving in dishonourable ways, by wandering over people's boundaries and just saying, oh well, we don't care, we'll do it anyway. I'm sorry, you've got to stop doing that. You've got to develop behaviours, principles, moral standards that mean that you don't do these things. Otherwise, programmers are just going to get a bad name and everyone will start hating you idiots. And I don't want to call programmers idiots, but the way they're behaving is disgusting. I would like to meet a programmer who understands what the problem is, and who, I would happily speak with a programmer and actually discuss this, because I'm sick to death of this. And there must be weak-willed, spineless programmers out there who are being told to do this stuff, and they're just doing it. I can imagine the scene now. One of the managers says, well, we've got to do this thing, and the programmer says, well, I'm sorry, that's going to be an invasion into someone else's life and privacy. And the guy says, well, if you don't do it, I'll fire you and get someone else to do it. And that's probably what happens. How disgusting. How disgusting. And that's the society we've got at the moment. A disgraceful society of disgusting wimps who are doing exactly what they're told and who are not standing up for anything. And I'll tell you what, I will draw this back to feminism again, because men are intrinsically bound by a code of honour that they have to uphold. I don't know about women. I don't think it matters the same to them. I'm not saying that they're dishonourable, but I'm saying that men usually, they have a duty. They are bound by their conscience to actually do the right thing, and they are made to feel really bad if they don't do it. I think that this erosion of society into a weird mess has caused this, and I think that the eradication of feminism has to occur so that we can get back responsibility and culpability, whereby a man is bound and he is responsible for what he does. Because at the moment you try and hold a woman responsible, oh no, you're picking on her. What? You hold a man responsible, the buck stops with him. This is a problem with feminism. It's complete double standards. It's garbage. Feminism's a lie. It's an impossibility. But we feel hemmed in by this lie. We can't get what we want. We can't do what we want because no one's responsible. Because, you can't say anything to a woman. Why? Because she's the fairer sex. I respect that. And that's the problem with feminism. It's being used against the average person, the average man, who wants to get something done. We can't say that because... What? This has to be destroyed. We get this feminist nonsense. Man, I could make 1,000 videos on feminism and the nonsense that it's causing. In fact, I'm going to continue making videos exposing and trying to wake people up to the nonsense of feminism, how it's destroying everything around us, and how it needs to be completely and utterly eradicated. I can do that all day long. That's where this really comes from. No one will stand up against anything because everyone's scared nowadays. They're scared of just saying the wrong thing. It's ridiculous. You have to have the male with whom the buck stops, because I'm sorry ladies, it doesn't work with you. It does not work with women, and you can say what you like, but the fact is that if you have to blame a woman for something, you can't do it with the same force that you can with a man, because the expectation is that a man will be ultimately responsible. A woman, that expectation is not there. It's not there. No matter what you say, it simply isn't there. So we have this, all these standards being degraded, and the interference into people's lives is part of it. It's got this whole garbage nonsense of feminism has to be gotten rid of. These are just the knock-on effects of it. And I can make 1,000 videos on this stuff, and I hope to, because this nonsense has to be destroyed so that we can get back to reality and have a real world that works. Anyway, no, I don't want pop-ups coming up on my screen that I don't need because someone feels it's okay to interfere with what I'm doing. It's rude. I would imagine other people agree.